As in most other gacha games, strongest characters in Endfield tend to be the highest rarity, 6 stars. However, in the beginning you won't have access to many of them, and even further you'll have to plan your pulls properly if you are not planning to whale. Thankfully, Endfield is not a game decided by power of one broken character, and there are a lot of strong free-to-play ones that can improve your teams a lot. Today we're gonna talk about top 5 best free-to-play characters that I discovered in over 200 hours of playing beta and where would you wanna use them. This list opens with Chen Kuan-Yu, physical guard character whose main role is sub-DPS and applying reactions. The biggest benefit of Chen lies in her combo skill that allows her to apply lift after enemy becomes vulnerable. What it means that on its cooldown she'll give you an extra vulnerable stack completely for free. You can trigger it with her own skill or more likely with some other character that uses any physical reaction. On top of all of that, she has amazing multipliers on both her combo and especially ult, allowing her to deal massive damage without using a single SP. Naturally, as most physical characters, she works best in full physical or mix of physical and cryo teams. You will get Chen for free by progressing the story, which makes her an amazing investment if you are planning to use her teams. In my limited testing, I can say that full physical is probably one of the strongest teams in the game. However, it is also the hardest one to build and pilot, as pretty much all characters in it are expected to deal some damage. Because of her limited usability and reliance on other characters, Chen only gets 5th place on this list. Number 4 goes to Ardelia, and yes, she is technically a standard 6 star, however you will get her for free from login event, which was a great surprise. She is a nature support and a healer, and also probably the most versatile character in the game. Even though she can't apply nature herself, her combo allows her to apply corrosion directly, and then her skill lets you transform it in physical and art susceptibility. Corrosion effect is not that powerful, as on its own it only lasts 7 seconds, but susceptibility lasts 30 whole seconds. Maxing her skill will allow her to increase pretty much all damage by 25%, but unfortunately at level 1 it's only 15 and at level 9 it's just 18. However, she is also maybe the best healer in the game, as both her skill and ult spawn a bunch of sheep which when you collect them will heal your team. Truth be told, in many teams there will be a stronger option which will end up dealing more damage by giving up her sustain. But during beta I ran into many situations where her heal was irreplaceable, and I bet that more often than not every team will want some sustained character. So unless you're a god gamer capable of dodging any attacks for several minutes straight or just want to have some extra comfort, Ardelia is a great option. Even if not always the best, Ardelia will still massively increase your team's damage, though do remember that maxing her skill for full potential will cost you a bit of resources. Number 3 is Antal. Gotta say, I'm personally very surprised that one of 4 stars is actually that great. Antal is electric full support, whose main job is to apply stacks of element and increase your team's electric and heat damage. His main strength lies in his combo skill that allows you to apply another stack of any physical or art reaction when enemy suffers one every 25 seconds. Unfortunately, it strongly relies on enemy having focus on them, which can only be applied by using his skill, however it has insane 60-second duration. Which means even baseline he can apply 3 stacks of element or vulnerability per one skill. Additionally, focus increases enemies' hit and electric susceptibility by up to 14%, but can only be applied to one target at a time. His ult buffs your own team's again hit and electric damage by up to 28%. Each individual effect may not seem as impressive, but all of them combined make him an incredibly strong operator. He is absolutely replaceable in electric or heat teams, and while not nearly as good, can serve as temporary substitute in pretty much any other. Electric and Heat also happen to be some of the most free-to-play friendly teams, and if you care about efficiency, you will definitely want to level Antal. Being a 4 star also means that not only you'll be able to get him very easily, but also likely to get his full potential very quickly too. Number 2 goes to Wolfguard, a character who carried me through all content that was available during beta. Truth be told, I've heard many people having very mixed experience of him, but I suspect those that didn't like his performance just didn't give him a proper chance to shine. Wolfguard is a hit main DPS character that you will also get for free by progressing main story. His main gameplay consists of using another character to apply some element on the enemy, followed by Wolfguard's combo skill proccing combustion and then consuming it with his skill for massive damage. Since Wolfguard's DPS does partially rely on reaction damage, it will a little fall behind true crit DPSs on extremely high investment. However, it also means that he's gonna be much better on earlier stages, and even at max level 80s of my teams didn't feel much worse. In comparison with most other meta teams, Volgard is infinitely easier to use and would definitely be my main DPS recommendation if you are more of a casual player. And even if you don't wanna play him as your main DPS, don't rush to skip him, as he can also fulfill another role, Element Applier. His combo skill doesn't really trigger combustion, it just applies one stack of heat, which in most cases does result in combustion. But it can also proc on applying heat, for example from his own skill, letting you get one more stack of heat completely for free. During beta, he actually was a part of Leviathan meta team and likely wouldn't be the first one to get replaced either. I personally haven't seen him being used as support in many other teams due to lack of heat synergy, but I suspect him to get even better when more characters get released. Before we get to our top contender, let's first give some attention to honorable mentions. Arknights is an amazing electric sub DPS that also generates some skill points as a bonus. Just 3 seconds cooldown on her combo skill allow you to abuse it a lot and even open possibility for some crazy rotations. I even tried building a team around Arknights main DPS, and while it wasn't as good as others, it was a very fun and unexpectedly capable team. Another one is Psyche, cryo support and a healer. Her damage amplification is one of the strongest and most consistent in the game, pretty much irreplaceable in cryo teams. However, her heal, which both her combo and amplification rely on, require you to land a final strike, which against some enemies is very hard to do, especially if you get hit. And lastly, Akekuri. I personally had very bad experience with pure SP batteries in general, but many people seem to have very big success with theirs. What Akekuri provides is basically another proc of skill on any of your operators, which in certain teams can be very strong if fit correctly in their rotation. But there are a few problems with that. Even if you stack full energy recharge on her, she will ult incredibly rarely without using her skill, because her combo procs only once per stagger or stagger node. And using her skill just once will consume all skill points that her ult generated. Because of that, I think her use case is only great in teams that would want hit stacks her skill apply naturally, and ideally having another character who will proc combo skill of it. She is a great option in Leviathan team with Wolfguard, since normally Wolf would need to use his skill to proc additional hit from combo anyway, and his ult is much worse. And yet I do wanna mention her, because many people seem to be amazed by her, and there is a chance that I missed something about her in my tests. Finally, first place goes to yet another free character, Perlica. I'm honestly amazed by the fact that all characters who made this list ended up being either free ones or 4 stars, which will make most people's progression very smooth. Perlica is an electric support and sub DPS, whose main job is to apply electric stacks and electrification that increases damage from all elements. You may think that her main advantage is free electrification from her combo skill that even in worst case scenario has 50% uptime. And while it is undoubtedly great, finally enough, it's not the case. In fact, her strongest feat is electric stacks that she can easily apply with her skill. It's nothing special, just 1 stack per skill use, but she is the only electric character that can do it so easily, and as previously mentioned, electric has the best synergy with other elements. Unless you're playing physical team, chances are electric engine is gonna be the best choice for any Ars DPS, because nature in current state feels pretty underwhelming. Of course, she is not completely replaceable, but together with sub DPS and free electrification, she is very often gonna be your best option. Truth be told, I ended up using her in every single team besides monophysical, sometimes as a sub DPS and others more of a debuffer stuck in Nars intensity. Unless you're planning to play exclusively physical teams, I strongly recommend leveling her for any account. However, precisely because her main job is to apply Electro, you actually can invest bare minimum into her just unlocking gold gear. But as I mentioned earlier, she's a very solid sub DPS too, and I do recommend building her properly even if not as first priority. That's why Perlica ends up taking the first place in this list of best free-to-play characters. Please do keep in mind that all observations mentioned here are exclusively from second beta test that ended about a month ago. While I don't expect massive changes, some still can occur, changing relevance of characters both negatively and positively. If I do find any changes worth mentioning, I will put them in pinned comment as well as explain how they affect the character. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to not miss future videos. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!